Finding the right vendors who match your wedding vision and priorities can be a daunting task. Today I'm going to share with you some tips for knowing how to allocate your budget to ensure your top vendor priorities are met while staying within your set budget, however extravagant or modest it may be. Before I get started, let me introduce myself. I'm Andrew Joseph. I'm passionate about photographing weddings and producing tangible art for my couples to be able to pass down from generation to generation. Today I'm branching out to lend my expertise to you to help you along this fun journey of planning the details that will come together to create your wedding day. When you begin to plan your wedding, an important step is coming up with an overall wedding budget. I recommend using a wedding budget calculator to help you come up with an overall cost. If you visit the Knott's website, they have a really good and easy calculator to use as a guide to come up with an overall budget for your big day. Once you have calculated your budget, you want to prioritize which components of your wedding are most important to you and create a rank list of importance. After compiling your vendor list, place a star by the top 3 vendors that are most important for your overall wedding day vision. Once you have identified the vendors most important to you, research each vendor and start looking how you can massage your budget so you can fit these vendors into your overall budget. Let's now take a closer look at choosing a photographer and how they fit into your budget. When choosing a photographer, although a photographer's level of experience is important, you also want to make sure you have a connection with the photographer and are comfortable working with them. Keep in mind that you only get one chance to capture these special moments of your big day. If photography is your top priority, you will want to budget at least $3,000 or more on your wedding photographer. A wedding photographer at this price point is typically a full-time professional photographer with immense experience in the wedding industry. You will find that their portfolio has a lot of high-quality images. These photographers are often award-winning and well-respected among their peer group. They typically have a quick response time and will spend extra time making sure the important details to capture your big day are laid out ahead of time, ensuring a smooth photography experience. Most of these photographers are going to be full-service photographers. A full-service photographer is someone whose main focus is providing you printed products, such as albums, canvases, or metal prints. You will find a stronger emphasis on providing you tangible wall art that can be passed along as family heirlooms, as opposed to simply providing digital files. A photographer at this level is someone you can count on to be one of your trusted advisors for your wedding day. If you want to prioritize your dress, flowers, or maybe your reception venue higher on the list than photography, but also still want to keep photography up towards the top of your budget, you'll be looking to spend approximately $1,500 to $2,500 on your photographer. Typically, a wedding photographer at this price point is an up-and-coming photographer who has some wedding photography experience but is still working to grow their portfolio. Many photographers at this price have other jobs besides photography. As a result, response time may be slower than a full-time photographer. There will be a stronger emphasis on providing solely digital files, with few photographers at this price point offering printable, tangible works of art. The concern with having only digital files is potential for losing them or damage to the files. In addition, many people are not aware of the difference in the quality of prints at chain labs such as Walgreens, Target, or Shutterfly compared to professional labs photographers have access to. If photography is not high on your list of priorities or you have a low wedding budget to work with, expect to spend approximately $700 to $1,500 on a photographer. Photographers at this level are typically beginners or photography students. They will have average-looking images in their portfolio and will have a slower than normal response time as they typically have other full-time employment. They will also focus on digital files as opposed to prints. So now that we have discussed what to expect with photographers at different price points, I would like to give you some tips on how to find the best photographer for you and for your wedding budget. My first tip is learning how to massage your budget. If you have found that photography is really high on your list of priorities but you are struggling to make it fit financially, look to massage your budget a little. What I mean by this is look at the other vendors that are not as important to you and pull money from these areas, such as going to a less expensive place setting or less expensive wedding invitations. Even the small cuts in several areas can add up to help you get to where you need to be financially to afford the photographer you desire. The second tip is look at the photographer's portfolio for their overall image quality and style. In a photographer's portfolio, you are only able to see the best images they have produced, so I encourage you to ask the photographer to see a full wedding day worth of images. This will allow you to see the quality of images for the entirety of a wedding day, not just the best images captured. I welcome couples to see examples of full wedding days and have actually placed 2 albums as a part of my portfolio. Also, don't be afraid to ask questions that concern you the most. You should feel comfortable in the whole process, from understanding how they get organized and ensure a smooth photography experience to knowing they have a sound method to back up their images. My third tip is to make sure you find a photographer whose personality fit with yours. The photographer is one of the only vendors that you will spend the whole day with. Most photographers will offer an in-person consultation. Before you decide to book, ask the photographer you are most interested in to meet up and chat with them about your day. This will give you a good opportunity to chat about your vision with them and hear how they can best serve you. Being confident and comfortable with your photographer can help the overall image quality as well. The fourth tip is to make sure that your photographer responds to you in a timely manner. Remember, you want to find people in the wedding industry you can trust and lean on when you have questions. A photographer that responds quickly to your requests and questions has your best interest at heart and will be able to provide you timely answers and suggestions and guide you so that you still picture the day of your dreams for years to come. A fifth and final tip is looking at a photographer's list of services offered. A photographer that is only giving you the digital files is really only giving you files and space. What happens if the photographer goes out of business or does not store your files properly and something happens to your flash drive or the computer you stored the files on? A photographer who offers printed products is giving you your first family heirloom. You will have the ability to purchase gorgeous wall art for your home that has been meticulously processed before the image goes to print. Try to keep in mind that the wedding prints or albums are items that are typically passed down from generation to generation. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your planning process to hear my thoughts on finding the best photographer for you and my 5 tips you should consider when choosing your photographer. If you should have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. I wish you the best of luck in your wedding planning process, and I look forward to working with you to capture these special moments in your life that will last a lifetime.